This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we'll start the session. So yesterday we were discussing about the connection. Okay, basically connection is, although part of technical master data, it is not having any data pertaining to ISU. So basically we maintain the master record for the equipment in ISU, but it is not a ISU equipment in the sense it is not something like a device, where device is basically a equipment, ISU equipment with ISU data, but this is a general equipment which has got no what you call ISU data. It's a purely maintenance master record of a general equipment. Now that is what we call it as connection. Now to create a equipment in general, we require equipment category, and that equipment category is assigned to the system defined equipment category. Equipment category has got a number range. So whenever you maintain master record for the equipment, the number to the equipment will be provided from the number range. Now, although you can identify material with the serial number and the combination can be given an equipment number, so we will consider that concept when you start working with the device management. So here you have equipment number. You can create a standalone equipment without referring to any material, but you can also create n number of equipment records for the same material. Okay, that means equipment can be managed as material for logistic functions like purchasing, goods receipt, goods issue, inventory management. For all these processes to happen, we can also consider the equipment number managed as a material. Okay, now yesterday we created material equipment. Straight away we will also see how to assign it to a material. So first you can create a material master, and then for that material master we can maintain the equipment numbers. So let's go to IMG easy access and create the material first. So we will consider material to be created only when we have got n number of equipments for the same material, and we are actually processing the equipment as a material in logistic functions. So to create a material master, we use the general functionality, MM01, create a material master. To create a material master, we have two dependencies. One is the material type, another is industry sector. Material type is basically defines the attributes of the material, what kind of material we are maintaining master record, like is it a material what you purchase and stock and sell, or is it a material what you buy and use as a raw material, or is it a finished goods what you prepare the master record, or is it like a service material. So that attribute of the material is identified through material type, and for the material type corresponding department data can be maintained, what you call screens or the views. So here we will select a general industry like mechanical engineering or plant engineering construction. You can select anything here. Utility industry, you're going to select for creating the material for devices what you're going to create. So I can select here mechanical engineering or civil engineering and construction, and then material type I will select as HAWA, trading goods. Trading goods means we buy and supply. Okay, that's the basic thing. And then we are going to maintain the organizational level. Now we are not going to record any sales order for this. So it is good enough if you select the basic data. Basic data is a must. It is a client level data, and then plant level data, and then accounting data. Okay. I mean, this much data should be good enough for us to create a material. But when you want to do purchasing, you can maintain purchasing view. You can maintain MRP data for requirement planning, forecasting. So depending on the in which are all functions we are going to use the material, you can maintain accordingly the screens and the views. So here I am selecting 3 screens, organization level. The minimum organization level what you should maintain is plant. because material cannot be operated without the plant. End of the day, material is something what we manage in a plant. Okay. So here we will select the maintenance plant, which is basically our virtual plant, which has been created as 6001. Okay. This is the plant, and select choose and then continue. And now we can provide the client level data. That is our basic data. So we will say this is 22 kV let's say transformer, and then basic unit of measurement, PAC. Division not necessary. Division is required when you want to create a sales order. Okay, so division is even if you don't maintain here, it is okay, but you can as well maintain the division 60 LXT, and then gross weight is, let us say, 50 kg, and then net weight is 50 kg, and then go to sales general plant. Actually, sales general plant is essential in order to process the material in a plant. Basically, the loading group, what you call, for determination of a shipping point. When you create a sales order, the shipping point is determined, which is like a delivery department, and transportation group is used in the sales order for the route determination. But these are mandatory fields, so we are maintaining, but we don't actually require them at this point of time. So we can just select some of the existing value. Loading group, let's say crane, or transportation group, can select as on pallets. I mean, you can define these values according to requirement, but since we are not going to run any functionality at this point of time, we will just maintain the values. Now, when you are working with the device management devices, we'll also be using the serialization profile. Okay, so that we will see later. Now, straight away, we'll go to maintain accounting data. Accounting data is where you maintain what is the value of the material. It also depends on what kind of material. If it is a trading good, then we maintain the price control as V, that is moving average. If it is a manufactured product, which is basically a finished goods, then you maintain ES, standard price. But because we use the material type as HAWA, material type trading goods, we are maintaining V here. Moving price, I will maintain. The initial purchase price will maintain it as, let's say, 1 lakh, and then we will save it. Save the master record, and then the system will give a material number as 232. So this is the material number we have created. Basically what it means, we can use this material number in various logistics processes, like creating a purchase order, goods receipt, goods issue, accounting, requirement planning. So that is the basic purpose. But when this material is going to be installed in the functional location, it has to take the shape of an equipment. Okay, so that is, in our case, it's going to be created as a connection. So first you can create a connection, that is the equipment, and then we will assign the material number to the equipment. That means there can be n number of equipments with different numbers for the same material installed in different locations. That is a basic concept. So now we will go to create a equipment master record, that is a connection. So go to technical master data and then select the connection and then create. Like yesterday, we can create the equipment master category A and then continue. Then go to basically location and then maintain the maintenance plant. The maintenance plant in our case is 6001, and then go to organization, structure, and then sales and distribution, serialization data. So here you can enter the material number, or you can also enter it as construction type. Okay, construction type is material number. You can enter here, or you can go to serialization data and enter the material number. So our particular material number here is 232. So we will enter that particular material 232 and then save it. So now it will provide the equipment number to this material, that is 10,800. That is the equipment number. Like this, there can be several equipments with the numbers, different numbers, but all belong to the same material. Okay. So this is how we can identify combination of material and the equipment number. You can also maintain one more additional identification number called the serial number. We will see that in the future when you create the serialization for the devices. Now, this equipment can be installed in the functional location, that is basically connection object acting as a functional location. So we can go to change mode and then select it. Yesterday we have already identified one functional location, but same functional location, I can add this equipment also. Go to the structure, change the installation location. The functional location is 89, what we have. That's the functional location corresponding to the connection object. Continue and then save it. Okay. So now this particular equipment is installed in the so-and-so functional location. So this is how we can manage the connection as the equipment. Okay. Now, in this case, we are selecting the functional location for the installation of the equipment. Now, there is one more kind of equipment what you can also connect directly to premise itself. That is, premise specific equipment. This equipment is applicable for the whole connection object. Transformer is applicable to the whole connection object. But there can be also specific equipments like a router, or let's say a kind of a instrument which will pass on remotely meter reading to the particular installation, automatic meter reading. So there can be some kind of an equipment what utility company may be providing, which is specifically assigned to a premise. So that is optional. If you want to use it, you can use it. But again, it is only from the maintenance perspective. It is not a device, it's a general equipment. So if you want to maintain any equipment specifically to any premise, then you must maintain what is the equipment category you use and for what division. That is where we have the customization at the premise level. So we will go to IMG and then select utilities and then select the master data. In master data, we can select the premise. So here, allocate divisions to equipment category. Okay, select allocate divisions to equipment category. This is an optional activity, but since it is part of our IMG, we can see how to maintain. In this IMG activity, you allocate equipment category to the divisions. Divisions means here we are talking about the system defined division category. For example, 01 electricity. Maintaining the premise enables you to perform a technical installation. The installation is stored as an equipment. Okay, so you are having some installation assigned to the premise. It is stored as an equipment. The technical installation depends on the division. That means several division specific installation can coexist in a premise. The requirements in the business process stem from three areas: control installation, outage reports, storage of customer information for making marketing activities. So a kind of an equipment which can basically capture some information and then pass on that information to the utility company. So if any such kind of equipments are there, they can be part of the premise itself. We actually create it as a technical installation for the premise. Okay. Now, having maintained this data, we will see how to do it. New entry. Our division here is 30, that is electricity, and the particular equipment category is A, that is connection. Okay, and then save it. Entity already exists. Okay, here you have to maintain 60. Our division is 60, and then save it. Now, whenever you create any premise, if any specific equipment has to be assigned to it, we can create it as a technical installation. It will be in the form of a connection. So we will find out what is the premise we have got and then go to change mode. Premise created for the connection object 89. Okay. So our connection object is 89. We have installation 179, 180, 181. Let us select 179 and then continue. And in this particular case, create a technical installation. And then here you can see the equipment is shown as a virtual number. When you save it, it will create the equipment number. So here we will select the division as 60, and then description we will see router for outages, and then save, continue, come back, and then save. Now it will create a equipment straight away in the background with this particular data. Save it. Now equipment technical installation of 10801 for the premise 179 was created. So if you go to IQ IE01, we can select this particular IE02, and 10801 has been created. Router for the outages and the location maintenance plant, we can give it as 6001 and then save it. Now this is not installed in the functional location. It is considered as a part of the technical installation for a premise. So it is premise specific equipment what we are maintaining here. Okay. So this way you can have two types of equipments here. One is the equipment installed at the premise level, and one is at the connection object acting as a functional location. Okay. So this is how we capture the equipment in the structure. Okay. Now this is basically connection. What you consider, it is a general equipment. It is not having any ISU data. Okay. That's how we can understand. So we have seen the basically four master data elements in technical master data. One is our what you call connection object, and then premise, device location, and then the connection. The installation will come later when we are ready with the system configuration for the billing master data. Okay. Now, at this point of time, we have maintained the enterprise structure, the organization structure. We have maintained the regional structure data. In business master data, we have maintained the business master data. There's business partner, contract account. Contracts will come in the future when you do the moving process. And in technical master data, we have worked with the connection object, connection, premise, and then device location. Okay. Moving forward, we will now start working with the device management. Now, device management is the proprietary application component what we have in ISU. It is one of the most important application module in ISU, and device management is available only in ISU system. We don't have device management in any other SAP system. It is something specifically designed only for ISU application. Okay. Now, device management is again divided into four application modules. One is called technology, and then device installation, then meter reading and inspection. Now, initially we start working on the technology module, which is application. The basic aim of the technology module is to maintain master records for devices. Our ultimate aim is to maintain master record for what you call devices. But in order to create device, we have to maintain some additional objects. So basically there is going to be material master, then device category, and then we are going to have a device created. So you need to understand what is basically device is, what is the functionality device will provide, and how to create device. To create device, what are the other parameters we require? Okay. Now, let us first write down the process by which we can create a device. And before that, let us first define what is a device. Now, there are some terminologies what we have to use in IS utility. Device, and then device category, device category, and then material. So these are the three very important objects what will come in device management. Material is basically created as a logistic general data. That is how we created just now a transformer. Okay. So here material is basically from the logistic functionality point of view, like purchasing, inventory management. For all these processes, we create a material master, and material is identified with a number, which is a material number. So basically it is identified by a material number, and it is logistic general EMM application. We are using the material master module in the logistic general. And as you know, MM is not an industry specific application component. It is something what you find in logistic general. It is a general MM application what we have. That is a material master. We create material master to represent a raw material or a trading goods like purchase and sell, or finished goods, or semi-finished product, or work in progress, pipe. I mean, there are different ways you can create different types of materials, but these are all basically having the logistic data. In the material master, you maintain data for various logistic functions like purchasing, sales and distribution, production, requirement planning, accounting data, quality control. So it is a very general kind of data based on the logistic functions. Okay. But now, in case of ISU, what happens? The material what you create actually is going to behave in the future as a device. Okay. So basically, what is device? Device is basically an equipment. Okay. It is a equipment device. Every device is a basically an equipment. Okay. But why we are not calling it as equipment? Device is having data of an equipment in general. That means just like how you saw an equipment master just now for the connection, every device also will have the equipment master record, but it is not a general equipment. It is called as ISU equipment. That means in the master record, when you create for the device, it has got all the data of a general equipment, but also it has got some data pertaining to ISU. So many times we also call device as a ISU equipment. We call it as ISU equipment to differentiate from the general equipment. So every device is acting as an equipment with the data of equipment master record. But in the data, we also capture some additional data pertaining to ISU. Whereas when you just create as a general equipment, it will not have any industry specific data. That is how you can understand. So device is basically an ISU equipment, and generally how equipment is identified, it is identified by equipment number, which is coming from the plant maintenance. But in case of device management, every device is also identified by a serial number. Okay. So device is IS equipment identified by serial number and equipment number. It is identified by the equipment number. And this is coming from the PM module. It's a PM module data. And device category is ISU data. It is having the ISU data. And device category is created with reference to the material number what you create. Okay. That means unless you have created a material master record, we cannot create the device category. So material master number will be used to create a device category. So for the material, you have got corresponding device category, and device category is identified with the same number as of that material. And device category, sometimes you also call it as ISU material. Okay, you call it as ISU material, and it is going to have certain ISU data which is captured in the device category. And using the device category, we are going to create devices. So whatever data we have got in device category, it is copied into all the devices. So device category plays a very vital role in terms of creating devices. So what is the role it will play? Why device category comes into picture? So that part we have to understand. So the sequence of creating the devices will be create material master first. It is identified by a material number. And once you create a material, for the material, we create a device category. And when you create a device category, we have to enter, depending on the kind of device category what you create, some technical group data. That's how you can see on the screen. When you go to device management, we have register group, we have got command group, we have got winding group. Depending on the device category, we have to enter the particular technical master data like a register group or command group or a winding group. It depends on the what kind of device you're going to create. So there is something called basic device category. The basic device category is system defined. So when you create a device category, we have to specify what is a basic device category. Based on the basic device category, it will ask the particular group level data. And what kind of devices we can create? It is established from the basic device category. So then we will understand what is this group level data. So first create a material master, then create a device category. And after creating device category, we can use it to create n number of devices. And device is identified by serial number and the equipment number. Now here we can identify device itself according to the functionality what it is going to provide. Okay. So material is device category. It's called ISU material. It's called as ISU material. Now we can further elaborate what is a device. By now we know device is basically an equipment. Now what is equipment? Equipment is something that will provide some kind of service. Like we said yesterday, every household equipment what we have at home is every household material what we have is basically acting as an equipment, like a television or refrigerator or a computer or air conditioner. These are all physical materials, but they take the shape of an equipment. That means for every TV what we have at home or at homes, that is managed as an equipment in the system of the service provider. Suppose some service provider is maintaining SAP system, all the televisions or the refrigerators what they are servicing, they are available in the system in the form of an equipment. When you have equipment, then only you can think of providing the service. That means the PM module will come into picture. So for PM module, there are two very important master data. One is the functional location and the equipment. The equipment is a machine which is providing some kind of service to the customer, and that is something what we have to maintain from the plant maintenance perspective. Tomorrow for that equipment, we can provide various kind of services like warranty services, breakdown services, preventive maintenance, installation, replacement, removal. All these activities will happen for the equipment which is available at the location. Again, there are two types of equipments. What we have seen, in-house equipment, basically called as a machine, for which we provide internal maintenance by creating a work order. But if any service activities have to be done for the equipment at the customer location, then you maintain it as a customer equipment. For the customer equipment, we have to create a service order. But usually, whether you create a work order or a service order, they are created with reference to a notification. So notification is a document you create in plant maintenance, and for the notification, you can maintain the service order. So essentially, in plant maintenance, when you create a notification document or an equipment master record, we basically refer to the the material what is installed. But then the notification is a document created for the equipment, okay, and that equipment can be in-house or it can be at the customer location. Okay, so let us elaborate further. In the case of ISU perspective, what is this? Basically the material number and then device category and the device. Let us go to one of the installation in ISU and then trace the device, because at the end of the day, after you create a installation data for a premise, we assign a device to that particular installation. In the device management, we consider two types of installation: device installation. Now, unlike equipment installation, where equipment was installed in a functional location directly, we went to the equipment master record in the change mode, and then we assigned it to functional location. But you cannot do that in the case of devices. Devices installation has to be done through a specific transaction. So that's how if you go to device installation, here you can see application which will enable us to record the installation of a device in the particular structure. So basically one is a physical installation. That means the service person will take a device and install it in the field in the structure grid. But that installation we have to record in our system. That means after physical installation is done, the person will submit a report, so and so device has been installed, and then accordingly we will map that information in the system by creating device installation. There are two types of installations what to record. One is called technical installation and then building related information. That means we have two installation data what to capture, technical installation and building related installation. Either you can do them independently. First you do the technical installation, then you maintain building installation data. That means you're doing two separate activities. But you can also do full installation. That means in single transaction, we are maintaining technical installation data and then also building installation data. Technical installation means we are putting the device in a particular device location, which is acting as a functional location. Device is an equipment. So naturally, when you install the device, it has to be installed only in device location. Unless the functional location belongs to industry specific functional location category device location, you cannot install the device. That's how we have created the device location in the system with a special category of functional location. This will accommodate only equipments which have been created as devices. So what kind of device we actually create? The devices are created according to division requirement. That means each division, like electricity, gas, and water, you can have certain devices maintained. Now, basic device what you can always create for each of the division is meter. So meter is an example of a device. Okay, meter is again generic term. A meter can be electricity meter, it can be water meter or a gas meter. Now, if it is a water meter, if it is a gas meter or a electricity meter, how will the system understand this particular device is for electricity or water or the gas? That's where in the device management we use the concept of the system defined division category. If you remember, when we were working on the enterprise structure, we created our own divisions. These divisions are called the enterprise structure divisions. 60 is the division we have created to represent electricity, and 61 is for gas, and then 62 is for the water. These are our definitions of devices, and the purpose of this division definition is to configure the billing master data. So when you are customizing the billing master data, the rate structure, we customize it for the particular enterprise structure division, like 60. So if you customize the master data for 60, that means it is something applicable to only electrical installation. Okay, but for billing purpose, you require the meter reading data. That means when you have an installation for division 60, the billing activity will happen based on the meter reading what you are obtaining for device, and that device should have been maintained for electricity. That means our device when you create, it has got a link directly to the system defined division category. That means if you have created any meter for division 01, then it will take the shape of a electricity meter. Okay, then the system will understand it as basically electricity meter, and then it can be assigned to the installation belonging to division 60. Okay, but if you create a meter for 02 division, then it will become gas meter, and like that 03 it will become water meter, and depending on the division we can maintain some specific data. So in the device management we make use of system defined division category, but for that meter when the billing will happen, the system will use the enterprise structure division for which we have maintained the billing master data. So that's why we have integrated them together. If you go to our basic configuration, what we did, after you created enterprise structure, we had gone to utilities, and then over here we had maintained basically the basic settings, enterprise structure, allocate divisions to division category. So here what we have done, we have assigned our division definitions to system defined division. So in our case, we say 60 is electricity and 61 is gas and 62 is water. But 60 has been assigned to 01. That means entire device management is built on the division category concept, the division system defined division, and then the divisions what you see on the first column, they are taking care of the billing master data. So tomorrow, if you have defined billing master data for 60, it means it can apply to a meter which is maintained for division 01, that's the electricity. So we are combining the system definition of the division to the billing definition. Okay, so that is how we can understand. Now moving forward, let us trace how the devices have been created. Okay, before you customize and start creating the devices, we will try to understand in the existing installation how device has been maintained. Okay,
Sir,
now yeah,
hello. Sir, or else we can use only system defined division.
yeah, but billing master data, when you do, you have to define again divisions in enterprise structure. There should be some definition in the enterprise structure also. Only that division we will be using in our billing master data. So as far as the system defined division is there, yes, it is used for the device management. Okay, whenever you create a device, it will make use of that division category. Okay, but
Or
when you
else
do billing,
we can customize our own divisions also.
for the device management, you cannot create your own divisions. It is system defined. They are coded. Like for example, if you say 01, 02, 03, we cannot
Yes.
define those divisions. They are defined by SAP. They are coded actually. Okay, we
Okay.
cannot
Okay.
define those divisions, but you can define your own divisions for billing purpose in enterprise structure. You got the point?
I didn't get exactly, sir.
No, here you see the division category. If you go to utilities and then basic settings, allocate divisions, these division category, what you see here, these are
Existing
defined by
division
system.
categories. Okay.
These are division category. These are defined in the system by SAP. They are coded. Okay, they are coded in the sense some programming is available for each of these division category. It's not actually
Okay.
called division. It's called division category.
So we have to
The,
use only this division category for the
exactly,
division.
exactly. We have to use only them only when you create device management. Basically, what it means, you can think like this. Tomorrow, if you create any device for 01 category, what it means?
Electricity.
It's a device for electricity. Are you getting the
Yes.
point? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
But for that device, you have to do billing at some point of time. Okay. And that configuration you will do based on the division what you have defined here 60. Okay. You got the point?
Yeah. Yes.
So this we
But
have to define.
there is no predefined divisions, no, sir, in system.
No, SAP will not provide because SAP doesn't know what divisions you are implementing. So you have to
Okay.
define in enterprise structure, like
Okay.
what distribution channel you want to define, what company code you want to define. They have given the choice to you. Okay, that is what we are doing. Let's say in a particular company, it's a distribution company, they are only doing what you call the electricity only. Okay, then you define the division only for electricity, and that is what you are doing the distribution. Okay, so SAP has given the choice to you, create the division, and it also does not give any billing master data. It does not give any billing master data. Why it does not give?
Which
SAP
one,
does
sir?
not give any bill. SAP will not give you any billing master data. We have to create. So why it cannot give? Because the billing master data is designed for the division what we create. For example, 60. Okay.
Yes.
Once you define division as 60, for that you are building the billing master data. So
Yeah.
SAP cannot
Yeah.
provide any master data because it is specific for the division what you're defining in enterprise structure.
Yes, sir.
Are you following? Yeah. For
Yeah, yeah.
example, if you go to the billing master data, you take any of the master data. Say, for example, I go to rate. Okay. The rate is one of the parameter what we have in the billing master data. But this rate was defined for a specific category of the division. If you take division as 30, 30 is our one of the division what we maintain for other batch, where 30 is electricity. Okay. For this, you can see different rates you have created. Household single rate meter, smart meter, street light billing, device rental value. All these master data elements were created for a division that is 30. Okay. This is our enterprise structure division. Okay. So if you go to change mode, Z300 is the rate what you have created. This is for 30. What is this 30? 30 is our definition of the division in the system. Okay. So SAP is not giving this. We are defining it. Okay. That's the reason after you define the division, the ISU consultant will do the customization of the billing master data. But when you do the
Okay.
billing, you require the consumption data, and that will come from the meter. And that
Yeah.
meter should be pertaining to electricity division. That is how we can understand. So now we will see that further connection, how it happens. So now let's go to trace a device, how it is maintained. Now let me go to, coming back to again, there are two types of installation what you're saying. One is a technical installation and another is billing installation. Technical installation means you are saying so and so device is installed in so and so device location. Okay. That means I showed 10 meters to my service person, go to this particular building, and in that particular device location, you install all these 10 meters. Okay. That means it is as good as installing an equipment in a functional location. Device location is a functional location. So we have issued 10 meters, which are basically electricity meter, and then you are installing in a particular functional location, which is basically the device location acting as a functional location. But now each of this meter is working for which particular division billing. Okay. End of the day, meter is supposed to record the consumption. Okay. And that consumption is what you are billing. That means it is for which premise. So that information we have to maintain. Okay. So that is where we connect that particular billing related installation data to the basically device, and that will be maintained for a premise, because at the end of the day, although you have installed 10 meters, each meter has to do the metering for a particular premise. Okay. So we are connecting the meter to the premise through installation data. Okay. Why installation data? Why not directly to premise? Because premise means it is not having any division specific data. Premise is just an apartment. Okay. But once you create a premise, for the premise you are maintaining installation data. What is the purpose of installation data? For this premise we are having electricity connection. Once you maintain the data, it is called installation data. But for that installation, we are going to do device installation, which is called billing installation. That means tomorrow that installation, when you do the metering, how the billing should happen. Okay. So there are two types of installation. One is a technical installation, one is a billing installation. You can do them in sequence or you can do it at once. So let us first trace one such device, what is already installed. So if you go to installation, technical master data, and then select the installation, change. Let me pick up one installation which is maintained for a particular premise. Division is, let us say 30. Okay. Now let us select this. Now what is installation? According to our understanding, when you say installation is a technical master data, what is the meaning of installation? Any idea? We have explained there are four master data: connection object, device location, installation,
Installation can be different for
and
various different divisions.
yeah.
It can be
So
many installations.
huh, suppose you got a apartment. The apartment is nothing but a premise. Okay. That apartment is having three connections. It is having electricity connection, water connection, gas connection. So for each division connection, we are maintaining a installation data. That means we are saying tomorrow, if this premise is having electricity connection, what kind of billing master data is required? What is the scheduled data for meter reading? Okay. So that information we gather in the installation. So here the premise is 139. It is an apartment. It is getting the connection for electricity. That means it is getting connection for division 30. That is enterprise structure division. Okay. But for this particular premise, we are maintaining installation data that is 191. For this installation 191, we have assigned the billing installation, that's the devices. So if you select here device, it is going to show what is the device it is working for this installation. Device is identified by a serial number, that is 700, and device is also identified by an equipment number. Okay. So what is the difference between the serial number and the equipment number? That you have to understand. But both serial number and the equipment number here you have synchronized. Okay. That means serial number is same as the equipment number. If required, serial number can be different, equipment number can be different. Okay. But serial number always refers to material, and the device also refers to material. So here you can say our material is 170. Okay. So first we created the material as 170. Okay. We created first material as 170. That's the material number. After creating the material 170, we maintain it as a device category. Okay. So if you go to device category, you'll find a record available for the device category. So if you go to device management, technology, device category number is same as the material number, or material number is 170. Now here 170 was the device category, and the equipment what we created, it belongs to this particular device category 170, and our equipment number is 700. So if we go to IQ02, the device serial number, and then change or display, our material is 170 and 700 is the serial number. So basically here we have created the equipment master record for the device. So where we say for the material 170, the serial number is 700, and this combination is having a equipment number. What is the equipment number? It is 700. Now equipment number is required for the plant maintenance purpose. That means tomorrow this electricity meter, we have to provide some kind of services like installation, removal, replacement, removal, or meter reading activity. So all these plant maintenance activities and business related meter reading activities can be performed for the device, and you are managing it as the equipment in the system. Okay. So basically, in order to create the device, we have to have the reference of a device category, and device category itself refers to material number. So first you create a material and then use the material number to create a device category, and for the particular device category there can be n number of devices, and the device is identified by a serial number. So if you go to IQ09, okay, what is the serial numbers created for the material 170? Okay, so if I say our material is 170, what are the serial numbers created for this particular material? We will identify. So there are so many serial numbers here. Okay, that means the material 170 is having so many serial numbers, and each serial number is having a corresponding equipment number, and there is a status installed, available, wherever stock, like that. Okay, we will see that aspect separately. Now first we have to understand here what is this serial number. Okay, that is a starting point, because that we require information to understand when you create a material master. What is the serial number? Okay, and what is the equipment number, and what is the connection between the material and the serial number and the equipment? So that we have to understand. This is one important concept you have to understand, and you have to understand the concept of device category. If you understand these two concepts, then our technology module is understood. Okay. Now, what is serial number? We'll have a general idea. Now, what is serial number? Whenever you have a material which you manufacture in n numbers or you purchase in n numbers, for tracking purpose, you will give a serial number. Suppose, let us say in my company, I produced this month 1000 air conditioners. Okay. All these air conditioners are basically window room air conditioners of the same capacity, same model, one, basically you can say 1 ton air conditioners. Okay. Models are 1 ton, 1.5 ton, 2 ton, like that. You have window room air conditioner. Let's say particular air conditioner model is basically 1 ton refrigerator, that is basically air conditioner, and model number is M101. Now I have produced 1000 numbers of them. Okay. But to produce what you require a production order. You create a production order, and you create a production order means for what material. Okay. That means we maintain first a material master, and the material master we gave a definition as this material is basically a 1 ton room air conditioner, model number AIR M101. Okay. And this material number was used in the production, and then we produced 1000 numbers. Okay. Now tomorrow, out of these 1000 numbers, we send it to various dealers, and ultimately they will go to the individual customers for the installation. Okay. But tomorrow, if you want to track which air conditioner is working where, tomorrow suppose a customer will give a call, my air conditioner is not working. Okay. Naturally, we'll ask them what is the serial number. Okay. So every machine what you buy will have a nameplate. In the nameplate, you will see a serial number. Okay. That serial number is required by the service department to know when it was supplied, where it is working, and when it was produced. All these details are maintained. Basically, serial number will help us to track. Okay. That means if you produce the same material in n number of quantity, physically you have got 1000 pieces in this month. Okay. But each material, that is each particular model what you have produced 1000 numbers here, each quantity is identified by a serial number. Okay. So based on the serial number, you know when it was produced or when it was sent, who is using it. Okay. For tracking purpose. Okay. That's the basic purpose of the serial number. But now let us say material number is M101. It is having 1000 pieces. That means it is having 1000 serial numbers. Okay. Now serial number is not a number range object. It is a continuous number. If you allow the system to do serialization, it will give the starting number as 1, and from then it will start giving the serialization. Okay. Suppose model M101, we did not have any material produced so far. We produced it in this month 1000, and the serialization happened. So it will start with the serial number 1 to 1000. After that, we prepared another 500 pieces. Then it will start with 1001 to 1501. That means it will keep giving continuously serial number. It knows what is the last serial number we have used for the material. So it will give continuously the serial numbers, numerical numbers in sequence. Okay. That means every material can have a serial number starting from the 1. Okay. Then onward, depending on the how many serial numbers you have created, the number will be allocated. This is if system is doing the serialization. Okay. But if you want to do serialization, you can use some kind of external number like alphanumeric. Okay. Alphanumeric system cannot understand. You have to give. You can follow some convention saying that 1 ton air conditioner will start with M1 as the identification, M1001, M1002, like that you can give the serial number. Okay. That means the external means you are giving the serial number. If you leave it to system, it will give always numerical number in sequence. Okay. But every material will have a serial number starting from 1. Okay. That's the concept. But now the combination of material and serial number, we have to manage sometimes as an equipment. Okay. Say for example, room air conditioner model M101 is having a serial number 1. Okay. That means M101 is a material number, serial number 1. This is one combination. Material number M101, serial number 2. Like that, you have the combination. Every material will have its own serial number. And this particular combination, we have to give a equipment number. So when the equipment number will come, if you manage that material as an equipment, okay. That means tomorrow, if you supply any product identified with the serial number, but that particular material is going to behave like an equipment, then you have to maintain an equipment master record in the system. unless you maintain equipment master record in the system, you cannot render any service. You cannot make a notification. You cannot create a service order. So serial number and equipment number both may be required in certain cases. In certain cases, only serial number should be good enough. Equipment number is not required. When that will happen? If the combination of the material serial number is only for tracking purpose, but it is not a service equipment, it is not a service material for which we don't give any service. For example, companies providing some modular furniture item, let's say a TV set, a TV set in the sense, a modular furniture item which is basically acting as a TV housing in which you can put the TV and it has got certain compartments where you can put other material. We send this material as a modular, install it, and then keep it at the customer's location. But once you supply this material, your job is over. Tomorrow, the customer will not call you saying that my furniture is not working. Okay, it's not an equipment. If anything is required after 3 years, 4 years, they can do some painting, or if something nail is broken, they can put. Okay, but it's not something like an equipment. It's not an equipment. Okay, so for a material number, serial number is required if you want to track it. But the combination of the material and serial number, you have to maintain as an equipment if that materials has to be identified as an equipment from the plant maintenance perspective. Now, in this case, the air conditioner is not just a material what you give it to customer. We are responsible as a company to provide the service. Naturally, that piece of equipment has to be maintained. Basically, equipment is the piece of equipment, technical identification of the material. It's an air conditioner, it's an equipment, and it is installed. And for that, we are giving 12 months free service, or after that, annual maintenance contract. Then you can keep tracking what are the documents you have created. Tomorrow, after installing, after 3 months, customer will call up saying that this particular air conditioner is not working. And when you receive that information, it will create a notification in the system in the plant maintenance. For the notification, you will create a service order. And based on the service order, the field person will go to the air conditioner, attend to it, submit the completion certificate, and then service is rendered. So if you are providing service from the plant maintenance perspective, unless there's an equipment master, you cannot provide the service. Okay. So material is behaving like an equipment. So in this case, material is identified by a serial number and an equipment number. When you create an equipment, number will come. Now, there are two ways of handling it. Serial number will synchronize with the equipment number. That's one possibility. Or serial number will be separate, equipment number will be separate. If the serial number has to synchronize with the equipment number, then equipment is identified by a number range. When you create an equipment, you have a number range. So whatever number it is given to the equipment, the same number is also given to serial number. So serial number is not allocated by the system. It is rather pulling the number from the equipment. If you create a combination of material and serial number as an equipment, and if the serial number is going to follow the equipment number, whatever the number range you are giving to the equipment, the same number will be allocated to the serial number as well. That is what is happened here in our case here. We have done the synchronization. Okay, that's how you can see here the 700 is the serial number and equipment number is also 700. Okay, why this equipment comes into picture? It is basically from the maintenance perspective. The serial number is only for the purpose of tracking. Okay, but this is like a combined view of serial number and the equipment. Now, although it is looking like an equipment master record, there is one difference. What is the difference? You got IS data. Okay, in this particular device acting as an equipment, we have captured some data which is basically ISU data. But if you see a general equipment, in that you may have the location data, organization data, structure, serialization data, configuration data, but you will not have any ISU data. For example, if you go to the connection, what you created just now, that is also an equipment. Okay, if you go to connection and change, and this is the connection. So here you can see general, location, organization, structure, sales and distribution, serialization data, configuration data. But what is missing here? It doesn't have a tab called IS data. It does not have any IS data. But tomorrow, if there is any device, it is also acting as an equipment. It is also having all the screens what you see here, but over and above it has got some additional data which is stored in a tab called IS data. There you maintain certain industry specific data. If it is electricity meter, some data. If it is a water meter, some data. If it is a gas meter, some data. And above that, some additional data like what is the certification data and what is the group level data. So all the data will come in the form of IS data. So the difference between the equipment and the device, what is the basic difference? Although both are equipment, and general equipment, when you just say equipment, it's a general equipment, only from the plant maintenance perspective. But when you say device, device is also equipment from the plant maintenance perspective, but we are identifying it as a special category equipment, industry specific equipment, that is basically utility industry specific equipment. And industry specific equipment in ISU is called as a device. Okay? And device is identified by two numbers, serial number and the equipment number, but they all belong to a particular material. Okay. So here material is 170. Now what is 170? If you go to MM02 and then find out what is this material 170, let us say in which plant it is maintained, it is in 3002 and then continue. So material is maintained as three-phase alternate current single rate meter. Okay. So first you created one master record. This master record 170, identifying number as 170, represents a three-phase alternate current single rate electricity meter. Okay. That means you are identifying this material in our system from the perspective of logistic functions. Okay. What logistic functions you can do? Tomorrow, suppose if I create this material as 170, identify it as a electricity meter. But will the system know based on this material as electricity meter? No. It's only for the logistic functions. Just by giving a English definition, it's a three-phase electricity meter, it is not going to behave like an electricity meter. Okay. But for the purpose of logistic functions, it will serve. Okay. Tomorrow I can place an order on Siemens saying that material number 170, you supply 1,000 pieces. Then Siemens will supply 1,000 pieces. According to us, what you're purchasing is a three-phase electricity meter. Or tomorrow I can use the same material number to order EMCO. You supply 500 pieces of electricity meter. EMCO and Siemens are authorized, approved, suppliers for the electricity meter. We can purchase from any one of them. Okay. But when you want to purchase, you have to create a purchase order. In purchase order, you have to enter the material number. So whatever devices you are purchasing, they all come from the particular material master record because you are maintaining purchasing data, inventory data, accounting data. When you use this particular material in the purchase order, we know what we are ordering. And when you receive it, you perform the goods receipt. Then you know how much is the stock available for the material number 170. Okay. But after having created material, we also want it to behave like a device. That's why the device master records will come. But you cannot create a device straight away, although it is an equipment. In the case of connection, what happened? I created material, created equipment, assigned the material. But like that, you cannot do it here. After create a material, you have to create a device category. After creating device category, we are creating the device. So what is the necessity to create a device category? That we have to understand. So tomorrow we will explore what is the purpose of a device category, because device category is the heart of device management. That will give a technical definition to the material, what kind of device it will become. Okay. So we'll spend some more time on device category concept tomorrow. Then we establish how to create device category and basically what is the job of device category. So that we'll understand. So today when you have time, just go through, log in into system, study this material MM02 and then 170, and then you go to device category and then see what data you have maintained. If you go to device management, enter the same material what you created. I have created here. It is 170. What kind of data we are storing here? And for this, we are maintaining the devices. So if you can go to IQ09 and then enter the material number 170, and then you can find out what are the devices created. Pick up any device and see the data. You will see the device master record. Okay. So if you have time, please go through these data, what we have maintained. Tomorrow we'll discuss on the device category. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, conceptually you have to understand here, the device management is more conceptual understanding, step by step you have to do. But this is a base which we are starting. So today after this session, you must remember three things: material number, device category, and the device, and something about the serial number of the equipment. These five entities you must gather in your understanding. What are they? What is material number? What is device category? What is the device? What is the job of serial number? And what is the job of equipment number? These five are going to be the central, points of our discussion tomorrow as well. Okay. So tomorrow we'll continue.
Okay.
Okay.